Good morning, everyone. Welcome from the global stage right here at Switch 2025, our final market access session. Over the past few days, we have 36 global markets here. There are, I think, about 30 pavilions thereabouts and 13 local markets. And there's so much happening here on the global stage. I mean, we're talking with countries, investors, VCs, innovators, tech startups, enthusiasts, learning to expand their businesses around the region, around the world. That's what the stage is all about. And that's what we're doing here today with our final market access session. And this is called Scaling Smart, winning market access through discipline and partnership in Southeast Asia. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our panelists to the stage. First, our moderator, Thaddeus Koh, co-founder of E27. Round of applause for Thaddeus. Next, let's meet our speakers. Hardish Singh, Managing Director of 1882 Energy Ventures. Next, we have Megha Prawita, Managing Director of Kumpul. And last but not least, coming up to the stage in the white shirt, gray pants, winning at 155, Rohan Chaddock, Vice President of Marketing at Osome. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is yours.
Thank you, everyone. Hi. So my name is Thaddeus, co-founder here at E27. We have a very short panel here of 30 minutes, and my esteemed guests are here as well. Maybe we just take a minute each and allow them to do a little bit of introduction of what you guys do, and especially focusing in some areas where it's about market access and corporate or government partnership. Let's just start with Hardish.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Hardish. I'm the MD for 1882 Energy Ventures. We are fully owned by Aboitiz Power, which is one of the largest power generators and distributors in the Philippines, and itself is part of a broader conglomerate. Venture studios are a relatively new asset class, but think of us as a co-founder with a lot of muscle. So we come up with ideas, we validate ideas, we seed fund our ideas, and then we invite founders to come and build with us and to scale their ventures with us. Our mandate is focused on decentralized energy, and today we build ventures in the Philippines, but actively looking at opportunities across Southeast Asia. Thank you.
Thanks, Hardish. Megha?
Hi everyone, I'm Megha Prawita. I'm the MD of Kumpul.id. So we are doing the ecosystem enabler supporting tech startup, the non-tech startup in Indonesia. And right now we are supporting the startup and the entrepreneur to grow abroad, not only scale up in our country, also bringing them to, scale to the region, Southeast Asia, even Asia Pacific. We are also doing a lot of market expansion initiative together with the APEC country, including Japan, Korea, and also Australia. Our vision to strengthening our ecosystem entrepreneurship in Indonesia and the region, strengthening to the scale up the market. And right now we are helping and working together with 12 countries across the APEC. Thank you, including Philippines.
Thanks, Megha. Rohan?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Rohan, I run marketing for a company called Osome. Former founder myself, former startup founder myself. Osome does what we call digital corporate services. So we help the startup ecosystem founders set up companies in markets like Singapore, Hong Kong, UK, and UAE. And once you incorporate the company, we help take away all of the financial administration out of your purview, so you as startup founders can focus on what you do best, while all of your bookkeeping, accounting, tax filing, compliance, regulation becomes somebody else's headache. And we're a Series B startup ourselves, about 400 people globally, headquartered in Singapore. Happy to help if anybody is looking.
Thank you, Rohan. So with the combined expertise here, right, it's all about Southeast Asia and APEC, really scaling out of country here like Singapore. And here in Switch, we realized that there are many founders coming from various parts of the world, from East Asia to the European countries to Latin American countries. thus we decided to work on a very clear panel. We have a very short 25 minutes, but we need to talk about if you want to scale to the various parts of Southeast Asia, what is the best approach to take today, understanding the current tech climate that we have here in Southeast Asia as well. So maybe the first question I will ask, right, actually to Hardesh, right, which is a venture studio that talks about how do you actually impart that type of knowledge to founders today, right, in terms of when your product market fit is done, how do you actually bring that across different markets? Let's take the first question with
Good question.
Hardesh.
It's really quite simple. In my view,
Yeah.
every new market you enter, it's starting afresh.
Yeah.
Especially in this region, because it's so fragmented, from a maturity perspective, from a regulatory perspective. So something that takes off in Singapore does not necessarily mean you have a repeatable playbook that you can implement in Philippines or Indonesia, right? So I think, in my view, and maybe it's an unpopular answer, but you almost feel as if you have to start again, because you have to ask yourself, truly, is your TAM really that big?
Yep.
Right? And do you actually have the same segment present in all those different locations, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, like, you're basically starting afresh,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe we can get some comments from Mega, right? A lot of startups will hear about the size of the Indonesian market, right? So many times they say, look, part of my strategy is, well, there's a big market there. If I can prove my PMF in these markets, I can translate that into Indonesia. So Mega, maybe you can give us some comments and perspective, like when you help foreign companies coming into Indonesia, what is your advice to them as well?
Okay, as we know, yeah, as you mentioned, Indonesia is very huge. The population is almost 300 million population, the largest Muslim population in the world. A lot of opportunity, a lot of challenges.
Yes.
So to like doing market entry in each country, actually the one that you can see, have to see and learn is about the government support, because it's very fundamental. It's like about the regulation. It's also about how they, a lot of initiative from the government. Is it the way that you can get support from, and also about, is there any support system as in ecosystem enabler or local partner? Like as Asian way is like about the trust.
Yep.
If you get the trust, you get the way you working with them is about, you can get easier if you get the trust. Looking with local people, you have to see a broader, like about the culture, about the bureaucratic and about politics. We have to capture that, and also the pentahelix, other than government, about the industry, what kind of sector you have, doing a deep research based on our experience to help the companies from abroad. Not everyone is ready. It's about the readiness.
Yep.
PMF is very important,
Yep.
and also about doing deep research.
Yep.
The deep research also about the promising sector in our country.
Yep.
And who the one who can help this? One of them is ecosystem enabler like us,
Yep.
because we know the players, we know how to make the deal,
Yep.
and how to make it works in the country.
Yeah. Do you think beyond just government partners, corporates, are they critical to some of these foreign companies coming, corporate partnerships?
The corporate partnership, yes, is very critical, but then not every single company in the country open. So example like you're very open to do the open innovation and doing POC. There are some sector in our country is very open, like banking, telco, infrastructure, manufacture, but not every single. Most of the conventional, they are not, but we can capture and do the deep analytics before that,
Okay.
before open the connection to the corporate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you pass the question to Rohan. Earlier during our discussion, you mentioned that you guys do a lot of partnerships as well in the region when you scale to those countries. Maybe tell us a little bit of insights in that, but also sharing which countries are you guys in as well at the moment. Yeah.
From a partnership perspective, I think what I second what she was saying in terms of trust. Right, at the end of the day, to really be able to collaborate, you've got to be able to trust each other. So important. But uh, you see, invariably, when you're trying to build your partner network, what you see is what drives partners, what drives businesses at the end of the day is the money involved in what they can make together. And the way to see the common vision is when you start looking together at the value you can deliver to the end customers. If there's a commonality in coming together to be able to deliver value, true impactful value to the end customers, then all of the other ecosystem coming together makes sense. So that's what we've been doing. We've kept our customers at the heart of everything we do.
Yeah.
In our expansion plans across Southeast Asia and other markets, we have quite an extensive partner network. We've got about 450 partners just in Asia, who we call channel partners. We've got another 375 ecosystem partners who we work closely with. So we're really, really, really big on partners.
So as a startup, can you reverse the timeline? Imagine you are day one at Awesome, right? How do you approach this model? How do you establish this model?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great question. I think that goes back into the value component I was talking about. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you identify the end customer you're trying to work on and go from there. Because at the end of the day, whoever you partner with, you've got to have a joint value proposition for them to see value, and then for them to sign on and then do whatever else that you want to within the ecosystem.
Yeah. If I can ask the same question to Hardesh, if you can take the role of venture studio, but at the same time, right, a company like Awesome comes to you guys, right? What's your opinion on this? Like, how is this approach the right approach that you think that startups should take today, where it's very heavy on ROI-based partnership, or should they just go and give it a try, set up, and explore the market? What's your take on it? How deep do you need to be in these markets? Yeah.
In the context of partnerships for expansion, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, if I were a founder trying to expand to a market, I'll be desperate. I mean, depending on which stage I'm at, right? If I'm early stage, I'm going to talk to anybody that I can talk to. But going back to what I said earlier about you really treating this as a fresh market and fresh opportunity, I would try and speak to other founders, try and understand how are they operating, how are they thriving, who are the partners to go to.
Yeah.
And organizations like Kumpul, if they exist locally, I would tap onto them because that is what they're there to do, right? But really, like, end of the day, it's still the founder's job, right? You still have to go out there and make those relationships, find the opportunities, hustle, basically. If you have VCs who have the reach and they're on your cap table, then you should tap onto them as well, right? But it really is very dependent on the type of venture you're building, right? Some countries have more ecosystem enablers for particular industries as compared to others,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, I mean, I would just prioritize based on what it is that I'm trying to achieve, which stage I'm at, right? So
If they are desperate, would that change this outcome? So if they cannot achieve PMF in the local markets, right? Would that literally means they should be checking out or setting up fresh in, let's say, Indonesia or Philippines?
that's a big question because
it happens all the time, right? Where
yeah,
look, you say that Indonesia is going to be my market, but you can't achieve PMF after 6 months to a year.
that's because you're trying to be funny with your market sizing in the early stages, right? And then when time comes to actually prove it and you realize, oh shit, there's no market there, right? But yeah, then you're basically back to square one, right? I mean, if you go there, you realize that conditions are not supportive, the segments are not responsive, the business practices are different, the buying cycle is different.
Yeah.
Then you're going to ask yourself, like, are you prepared to build an entirely new business
Correct.
and operate two businesses in two different jurisdictions?
Yeah.
Because then
Tough
you
question.
don't actually have a scalable proposition.
Yeah. Tough question. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then I would ask the question that you just asked, like, okay, where can I go, where it's easy for me to repeat as far as possible what it is I'm doing in my core market already, right? That's the point of scalability, right? It's the repeatability of what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? So
Mega. So let's talk about this, right? Do you see a lot of these kind of companies coming in
About
or your experience, right, in helping companies access different markets, right?
the entrepreneurs, right?
How
Yeah.
much assumption do they have? Because I find that many global startups today have a fixed set of assumption that they know about Southeast Asia, but that assumption, um, at best, what they can find online, right? But we know that when they get down to the market, it is so different, right? So maybe some advice from you, right? If someone wants to check out really Indonesia, because it's always coming out, right? Indonesia is a big market, you know. How do they
Always
know what is assumption?
assumption as well,
Correct.
actually.
So if they enter into the program, like wanted to, let's say the energy company, how would they know what to ask or what to put in the deck to say that, look, I think I have the solution for Indonesia. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Right.
I will come back to the basic of business. Business we're doing is about capturing the supply and demand. It's like every single corporate they have a demand to fulfill, right? As a problem, and this entrepreneurs has to create the solution as a supply for the company. Let's example the 1882 venture, energy venture. There have a lot of demand as a needs and also as a problem, and this problem have to solve. Um, Not every single entrepreneur can capture that right now because first they don't always create something from the problem in Indonesia, especially they just can. Some of them is just copy the solution because they just see like, oh, this is very potential. This is can get a lot of fun from. Right now is not only venture capital.
Yeah.
Working capital is a lot right now. We're talking about the blended finance a lot, not only from venture capital because we know that money, the climate fund, right, the winter tech in the region, 80% declining from 2022, 2023. But then it's from our perspective, the most important thing is to capture the problem from the corporate,
Okay.
from the user,
Yeah.
because the corporate have money, have a power
Yeah.
to support this solution,
Yeah.
and what the value proposition UVP from that. Is there any differentiation with other player? And we are encouraging more deep tech right now.
Yep.
Stop doing aggregator. Sorry for that.
No,
But then
this entire conference actually has a lot of deep tech focus. Yeah. So
I
that's the
saw a
right
lot of
messaging.
deep tech right now.
Yeah.
It's very, very insightful. Singapore, Japan, Korea have a lot of deep tech, and especially for our country, there are a lot of deep tech needed.
Opportunities, right? Yeah.
Yes, manufacture most of them.
So before we pass the mic to Rohan, just one very quick question. How much time should a fresh startup or founder spend enough time in Indonesia
Yep.
to understand Indonesia?
To understand Indonesia,
Yes, to
The-
get to understanding or to get to the state where I think I have a market here.
okay.
What's your
Actually,
range? 3 months, 6 months, 1 year,
in average, maybe around 2-3 months.
to 3 months?
Doing like the validation. When we talking about the doing the first step before they're doing MVP,
Correct.
yeah, we're doing the design thinking and validation before they're doing the incubation
Correct.
incubator program, right? Maybe like 2-3 months. It's
That's
the
also-
fastest way.
That's also because in Indonesia we can only do 2 meetings a day, like physical due to the traffic jams. Rohan, you had a
I can
comment
take
on
that
it?
from two lenses. I can take that as a startup ourselves who's expanded, globally, and I can take that as a service provider who's seeing startups expand globally. So, as a startup ourselves, for us, it's always about we probably spend easily 3 to 6 months studying the market before we decide we go in there.
Yep.
We launched UAE 3 weeks ago, and we probably studied UAE for a year. Too long, but that's how it went. And then it's to Hardesh's point about really, depending on the stage of the business and the stage of the startup you are at. Because you were talking about global startups, Hardesh was talking about the hustle, pre-seed, 5-man setup, the kind of startup.
Yeah.
At that point, your every conversation you're having, you're evaluating whether this is going to add to who you are, what you do, or is it going to lead to a pivot. So at that stage, at that early stage, you're of course looking at every conversation, adding value to where you are and where it's going to take you, either within what your current vision is or what the future vision could be. In the global startups, from what we are seeing as a service provider, it's almost always the assumption that if I can do it here,
I can do it there.
Asia is one market, especially with with the American, startups, right? They're like, yeah, we'll go to Asia, because they don't have the understanding that Asia is 30 countries with 300 ways of doing business. You only realize that after you start hiring and struggle to hire, because you're like, everybody who's from here starts giving you this perspective on it's different and you can't do Asia and you have to start with one and scale. So that's something that you kind of typical global startups don't think of. I think now with all of us going and hammering this in the world,
Yeah, yeah.
the years, it's becoming more obvious, but it's surprising how often it still happens.
Can I just ask a follow-up question? Are you able to describe a little bit on the criteria? If you say it's a 6 months process of starting a market, right? Are you able to share a little bit of
It's
some
interesting.
high-level notes on that?
So what we did, for example, with UAE, is within the leadership team, we carved out core responsibility for a couple of people to do nothing else for 6 months, but own all insights for this market. One individual relocated from Singapore to be physically in the UAE. And then there was another person based out of the UAE, so that was easier. Customer conversations, ecosystem conversations. At some point from conversations, you want to go to, are you willing to sign the contract? Is it real or is it just talk? So all of this, I mean, it takes investment from a company's perspective to really, really think this through. And then localizing the product offering itself. For example, we're a digital corporate service provider. We help companies incorporate their businesses in 4 markets. In the UK, for you to register a company, it costs $60. There's no way I'm going to make money out of helping you register a company in the UK.
Yeah.
So what do? You tweak your product offering to make this a complement, or rather a complementary offering to something else that you will, you that's more sticky. So those are the nuances kind of we've played with so far.
Adesh, so in that sense, right, it's really tough. What's your advice for startups that's trying to enter the market? So for Awesome, for Rohan's side, it's straightforward because to some extent, maybe some of the fees could be you could actually research and find out roughly how much you should be charging. But then when we have deep tech companies that's doing, let's say, energy, right? The amount of length of time to spend with one customer takes months. To get to PMF could be even longer than that, right? So how do we instill some level of market discipline in studying the market deeper? Do you think that they should really spend 3 months studying a market before you say that, oh, well, we feel confident as a venture studio that you have something in this market?
Very deep philosophical question. I think
Sorry, a lot of ambush question
I know.
from my side.
No, I think if you go back to first principles, right? What, as a startup founder, what are you actually doing? You're looking for a reason to exist.
Correct.
You don't have a business model that's validated, and you're not actually a company. You're a concept at best, maybe generating some revenue.
Correct.
Right? So it really depends on what it is that you're doing and where you are. But that being said, if you understand that basic concept that you're actually searching for a reason to exist and how to do this in a repeatable and a scalable manner, such that it becomes a company one day, right? Then just applying that, that there's a basic discipline to building a company, which, having been a former founder and now being a this thing that I am, it's worlds apart, right? And if you want to be a founder, you have to. People always say you have to be curious, but I think you have to be really humble and not assume that you know a lot, because you have to constantly be on the search for how do I run a better business? What are the repeatable processes? What are the frameworks that I should be adopting when I'm thinking about my business model, right? There is a discipline, there's a way to do this. And as part of that as well, when you do your market sizing, your market research, it is not just to impress VCs with large numbers. It is actually an integral part of your business. Is there even a business that can grow beyond a certain size, right? So I would say, like, go back to first principles, right? Whether you're building in your core market, whether you're looking for a reason to expand to another market, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, it depends on the nature of your industry
Yeah.
and what it is that you're building,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But like the example that you just shared about localizing your product, that the nuance will be missing. You cannot do this remotely. You actually have to be in the market, right? And like I said, like your buyers' practices, their demands, the way they approach the same service will be very different,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I would say like the venture building or a company building discipline needs to be there, and unfortunately, it's not, especially if you're a first-time founder, right? And even if you're a serial founder, even if you have a successful exit, success doesn't teach you anything.
Yep. Yep.
Failure does.
If your experience is different, really, it doesn't teach you anything about these
Exactly.
markets. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
discipline,
Maybe-
I guess.
Yeah. Let's come to the last few words, right, from Mega and Rohan. Maybe a word of advice for global companies here, right? If you wish to really enter into this market, be it a deep tech company, be it a SaaS company, be it a service company, what are some of the next steps they can do for next year, in the next 6 months? Yeah.
I can take that. What I would do if I were a global startup today, the good thing is that we live in a digital first world. I don't need to spend a year physically here to be able to validate every single aspect of my business. I can do this digitally. I can do this in real time. I can make tweaks. I can A/B test, and come to conclusions in less than a week if I really need to. So, use the strength of the infrastructure and the ecosystem we have today. That's something I would do if I'm a global startup. Go in with an open mind that what you have built, with the passion that you've built it with, may or may not work in the markets you want to go into. There may be pivots needed, and it's okay. It might go away from the original vision, but what do you want to stick to? Do you want to deliver value to the end customers and make money in the process? Or do you want to be an idealist who, brought out a product for a purpose and you will not go beyond that purpose? So just two little words of wisdom from me, given I've burnt my fingers twice doing this in a non-traditional, non-digital world.
Mega?
I think non-digital way is the new way right now because we're going to the,
AI?
we're going back to the profitability and sustainability.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not burning money. It's past already, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The bubble is off.
Yeah.
If from my perspective and our experience, make sure you have a capacity and capability in terms of manpower. Like I want to echoing, like you just sit with the right partner or local people in the country, and to see that is it the right fit for your product, for your solution, that market. And from that you have to see that how much cost and effort you have to put in the market. Is it worth it? Because there are some cases like failure cases and succeed cases in my ecosystem. Indonesian to Australia, they don't really understand about the regulation in Sydney, and
Yeah.
they took 18 months to create the new product. Really, they're in the maybe like series B2C. They have money, but still 18 months
Yeah.
with hiring 8 people to develop the new product. But then the success story also come from our B2B unicorn. They have a money, they have a power, and they acquire some PGs in some countries in Southeast Asia. Now they have 6 branches in outside Indonesia. Oh, sorry, 5. Thailand, Vietnam,
Okay.
Malaysia, Singapore, even. So from that, the summary is about your capacity, capability, and also from that you have to decide which country, what kind of partnership, and also is it the right fit for growing your businesses? Because if you the fuel of your company is off, you cannot grow your store or company or businesses
Yeah, agree.
for the future in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Mega. So let's just do a 1 minute summary, which is down to the last minute. That Southeast Asia, unfortunately, is not so straightforward. With the wisdom that we've seen with the panels here, and with a lot of the ecosystem guys here, it's never a straight answer. There's never a single guide that can give you that answer. If I want to go to the market, this is what I do. It is all really about time and effort. There are some steps that you can take to localize your product and services. There are some effort that you can spend understanding the market, going down to the market, getting connected through ecosystem partners. In every country, there are many ecosystem partners. There are different platforms that you can utilize and form interesting partnerships with governments, with corporates, before you really embark on that journey of expansion into these markets. Right. With that, thank you. Let's put our hands together to thank the panelists. And if you guys have any other follow-up questions, I believe we can take it off stage. Thank you. Wow, I'm really tight. Once again, thank you.
Big thank you to our panelists. Round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen. Can we get a group photo here? Let's get a group photo with everyone. You're welcome. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for the insightful panelists. Big thanks to E27 as well for bringing that to us. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our last market access session right here at the global stage at Switch 2025. This has been an exciting 3 days, listening to various different markets, VCs, investors, learning what are the trends around the globe. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, just because you open up your business in your city, in your country, and maybe it's not doing as well as you hope, that idea might be fantastic somewhere else in the world. That's what Switch is about. It's connecting people from all over the globe to make sure those ideas, those innovations, those dreams that you have can become a reality and be successful with it as well. So without further ado, we have Slingshot happening at 1 p.m. right over at the main stage. What is Slingshot? Think of it this way. Shark Tank, tech startup, Switch, put it all together. There's a competition happening right there at 1 p.m. all the way till this afternoon to see who they're going to be the best startups in Switch. We're going to find out more about them in just a bit. So that, ladies and gentlemen, have a great afternoon. We'll see you next year at Switch 2026. Take care. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we'd love to have your feedback as well. Scan those QR codes, and you can let us know your feedback on today's sessions or the past week as well. We have our feedback form via that QR code right on the display at the global stage for Switch 2025.